Welcome. The first game of week 16 is in the books. Going to be taking a look at my high stakes pod. Going to be making some pick'em slips for this weekend. Let's get it, gang. If you are new to the channel, my name is Liam Murphy. Please hit the like and subscribe button. If for some reason you're not up and running on Underdog Fantasy, link to join and get a $100 deposit match is in the YouTube description below. Good morning, Alex. So, last night, the Saints and the Rams kicked it off. You know, frankly, although those teams had similar records, that game went exactly how I thought it would go. The Rams are a legit contender. You know, are they on the level of San Francisco? No. Could they beat anyone in the NFL? Yes. The Saints, on the other hand, kind of a boring team, not that impressive. No, you know, Derek Carr, come on now. So, on the Rams side, Kyren Williams expected fantasy points off the chart, but he did punch in 100 yards and a touchdown. I saw some people disappointed with this performance. I mean, in half-point PPR land, it's what? 16 points? That's awesome for your RB2 at an 18th round draft cost. Obviously, the gem of last night, Puka Nacua, 164 and 1. Puka Nacua is not that high owned on Underdog. He does seem to be in some of my DraftKings pods, but still kind of a rare player. Didn't have a great week last week. Matthew Stafford put up a fine game. It's pretty much it on the Rams side. I mean, Demarcus Robinson, I don't think anyone has him. Cooper Kupp dropped maybe 3 touchdowns. Higbee, nothing burger. That's pretty much what we got. Saints end. I mean, this is a pure example of running good or poorly. Derek Carr comes up with a rare spike week just with garbage time. The Rams playing off coverage. Shaheed puts up a solid spike. Olave, a fine game. Juwan Johnson gives you a score. Kamara disappoints. So, some people are asking me, am I locked to make it? Am I dead now? No. None of the scores last night are going to advance you by themselves. A lot of football left. You won't have a good feeling until after Sunday afternoon, maybe Sunday morning games. You know, where you're sitting. And then, of course, we got Baltimore, San Fran to end the week 16 slate. So, I had Kyren in 2 of my BBM4s and several other semifinal teams. So, I'm happy with his performance. And I was not facing him in my DraftKings 555 pod, where if we advance there, we got shot at 1 million. So let's start today by just looking at that pod. Once the games start on Thursday, they unlock the rosters. So first of all, as far as who we're facing from last night, all we faced was the quarterback score. And Stafford and Carr, they both put up fine scores, 23 to 25 points. That's pretty awesome for a late round quarterback. Pretty nice, you know, floor, decent ceiling, but they won't separate that much is the point. You know, I got Goff at quarterback. These are 5-man pods, right? So I just got to finish first of 5. If it's showing 20% on a player, that means I'm the only team with them. If it's 40%, that means me and one other team have them. So we got some good ownership on our players. Is my team a complete team? By no means. But I have a bunch of great matchups, some decent ownership. Just wanted to check in on some news. As far as NFL news, Zay Jones questionable. Trevor Lawrence was looking like he was going to be out, but now looks questionable. Michael Pittman seems like he's going to play off the concussion. Jonathan Taylor seems like he's going to play. Christian Watson, doubtful. Will Levis, I'm not sure. Ken Walker has not practiced this week. So for me personally, zero-sum game. For other people would be disastrous. But if Ken Walker could sit, that'd be wonderful for me. Or get to a big lead, rest him up, let Charbonnet do some work. Titans ruled out a lot of defenders. Might be missing one or two other bits of NFL news, but don't think we're getting Ramondre either. Not sure there. Oh, and Devonta Smith hasn't practiced. So good for A.J. Brown. But they play on Christmas, so still has time. Anyways, jumping into the ownership of my pod, only facing one other Goff team. That's pretty nice because I thought he could be pretty shocky. Ramondre, doubtful he plays. Hopefully he does, though. ETN, I don't really know if I want Trevor to play or not. I think I do. And I want just like a bunch of checkdowns. Just ETN, 8 catches, get me 15 points, maybe 20. Garrett Wilson against the Commanders would be, we got the only share of him. We got the only share of Amon-Ra. We got the only share of JSN, the only team with Goddard, and the only team with Ayuk. So some of our studs here, which Ayuk, Amon-Ra, and one of the worst picks because of how it shook out, Garrett Wilson with no Rodgers. But, can he be peppered with targets, get 10 catches, get 100 yards, maybe even get a touchdown or 2 against the Commanders defense? Yes, he could. It's like him or Brees. One of them has to have a good game almost. So actually a decent spot, Give us a game against Washington, get us in the finals. Then you got Cleveland. Maybe we use someone else to score then. Amon-Ra's in a good spot. JSN is a better spot for like the outside wide receivers. Tennessee reverse slot funnel, but I don't know what the Titans injuries look like, and the team's so bad that could get a touchdown. Goddard, decent spot against the Giants, especially if Devonta Smith sits. Ayuk against Baltimore, just strong leverage off of CMC, and he gets the Commanders next week. So, Dotson, not someone to be excited about, but we got him. Charbonnet, huge, depending how that Walker injury, how serious that is for this team. Jacoby Myers, we got the only share of him. Tajay Spears against Seattle. Honestly, in a decent spot. Really, my running backs are ETN, Spears, and Jaylen Warren. Sharon Warren with one other player, but he's in a good spot. So, what am I looking for running back? I'm looking for something like this. 25 points, 25, 25, 25. Give me 20 at tight end. Give me 25 too. So 25, 100, 125, 150, and then 25 points combined for my running back spots, like a 15 and a 10. That would put us at 175 points, a pretty strong stake to make the finals in a 5-man pod. If it's 160, if it's 150, could be good enough too. Trey McBride is a tight end in a great spot, but he's on 3 teams, so helps me, helps others. We got the only team with Sam Howell. I don't know how that's going to shake down as far as him playing. Cade Otton. Tutu Atwell seems like he's either just not healthy yet or more likely he's now behind Demarcus Robinson. And, the Chargers got a bad special teams unit, a bad defense. Maybe Hardy catches one. Jimmy looking like a 0. Damian Harris looking like a 0. Ramondre maybe a 0 this week. So, decent ownership. We got shot. We got to just beat 1 of 5. And then if we can topple 28 other lineups, we could repeat as champion. Take down the $1 million. Good luck me. On the underdog side, take a look at my pods real quick. some fine scores here. Like this guy's got a car. He had Olave. He had Shaheed going. But okay. Just need a couple of his players to disappoint. Seeming like he has the players that could disappoint him at tight end and wideout and just outpoint him. My team is going to count on the 16 points from Kyron maybe. Needs one more running back score. That team in first is blocking us at CMC and Cook. So really going to just need to separate at wideout on him. And we got the only share of TJ Hawkinson. So 2 touchdown, TJ Hawkinson revenge game. Let's go, baby. And of course, we got Hurts, who give me 30 Hurts, give me a little bit of 5-point edge on the Derek Carrs of the world. Olave score 18. Usually it would be like, okay, that's a decent score, but it's a pretty strong score because of how correlated he is with CMC. So it could be as simple as your Olave versus someone else's Devontae Smith versus someone else's Jalen Hurts versus your quarterback delta as far as who will reach the finals if CMC has a good game. My other team with Kyron getting the 16 points. This team's got a lot of points at the moment, but they got their quarterback points set. They're not going to be using these running back scores, so they need these 3 to come home. They're 3 good running backs. They got their 2 wide receiver spots set, and they got their tight end set. So we ran into like a Saints triple that all caught a touchdown. Need him to bomb at least 1 wide receiver spot and need him not to ceiling at the running back spots and or my dudes just score a boatload of points at quarterback, at running back, at wideout. So seems like a big gap, but we don't know anything about these pods. Important thing, I wasn't facing any Puka. Okay. Let's get some Pickems and get out of here. It's the holidays. Let's go, Nick. So if you want to pick 'em sweat, I'm going to be doing 2 slips this week. One is going to just be all Scorchers. So tail that at your own risk. And the other will do a normal slip, pick 5. Okay. Now, my read on the Bills game versus the Chargers is, yes, James Cook is probably just the top skill player in Buffalo now. But the question is, do the Bills view this as an opportunity to work on the passing game for the playoffs? Seems somewhat logical to me, right? And I think they do. Does that mean Cook can't score a touchdown? No. But it does mean I want to take a touchdown on someone. And I think we're just going to take Gabe Davis. We get a better multiplier versus Diggs, who I also think could have a good game. Just seems like they'll reward Gabe for blocking. He can beat these guys. Plays a lot still. Okay. Since we're choosing Scorchers, we're going to try to get players from different teams. We don't want to choose any Chargers in garbage time. I've not really seen the Bills defense, even though they play zone, allow that. Let's try to get a Hawkinson Scorcher for the revenge game narrative. Seems fun. A little 1.75x. And now there's a very important decision you need to make if you are someone who does Pickems or DFS or whatever. You have I'm going to hedge my best ball portfolio by either taking guys I don't have or taking guys that other people have that could beat me so that I have an emotional hedge and or financial hedge. Or you have the bet on your guys. These guys need to have a good week. And so it's a simple sweat. You either have a great weekend or you lose your best ball and your slips and or DFS. I personally, not a huge hedger. So we're going to be taking the guys we need. Let's get Amon-Ra on there. Score a touchdown against the Vikings. Seems likely. Seems good. Got a little correlation there. A little shootout effect maybe. Who else are we going for a touchdown here? I feel like they'll give us a 2x Scorcher on Garrett Wilson. And, I mean, someone's got to get All right, we're going to 157X against one of the worst defenses. Maybe it's the Chargers now, but let's get him in there. Garrett Wilson, we need him in the 555. And let's see what they're scorching up for Trey McBride. Yeah, let's do Trey McBride. Great matchup. Okay, so this is a 100X Scorcher. If you do $10 on it, which I'm going to do, pays $1,000. Going to share that with you in the chat if you want to tail. On your end, it is Gabe Davis, TJ Hawkinson, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Trey McBride. Honestly, like some decent chalk, and then Gabe Davis is obviously a little bit off the board because he's had box scores of 0 points. You know, but for the Scorchers, I recommend if you're into playing, you know, really high odds parlays for low amount of money that is unlikely to hit, choose the guys either you want to sweat. I think these guys are all decent bets, though. As far as choosing a regular slip, no Scorcher, so easier to hit, we're going to do something similar. Let's take the Amon-Ra yards. I like that against Minnesota. They blitz a lot. I could see him being their blitz beater. Let's get A.J. Brown yards, which I would assume this number goes up if Devonta Smith is ruled out and the Giants run man defense. A.J. Brown is like a man beater extraordinaire. It's a really high line on Trey McBride. I want to get the Garrett Wilson yards or receptions. He was shadowed and locked down by Jalen Ramsey last week. Washington doesn't have anyone that can do that. We'll choose receptions. Just seems like, actually, just because Washington gives up so much explosive yards, you know, if he gets like 4 20-yard catches, we'll choose the yards there. Let's get Chuba Hubbard yards. I like his matchup and workload. Only really way this bites us is if they use Miles Sanders more randomly, and or they're down a lot, and or Aaron Jones is just repeatedly running on them. And let's get the Metcalf yards. Just a pretty awesome matchup against Tennessee. You got a healthy Geno. We're betting on either studs here or guys with great matchups. So this is Amon-Ra, higher on 77.5 receiving. A.J. Brown, higher 78.5. Garrett Wilson, higher than 61.5. Chuba Hubbard, higher than 71.5 rushing. And Metcalf, higher than 62.5 receiving. Posting that if you want to tail that or make your own pick 'em slip out of it. That's going to be it for us, guys. We got the holidays. Have a very Merry Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. If you're not already, join my Discord. If you're feeling in that holiday cheer and you are not, please subscribe to my channel. We are 100 away from reaching the 3,500 subscriber goal. I will be back next week with hopefully some final sweats to review. Peace out.